Welcome to This Week in Loveland Tiger Sports here in East Media, powered by Sidearm Sports, as always on lovelandtigers.org. I'm Jason Grefer, and we're joined once again by Loveland AD Brian Conatser. Brian, first of all, how are you and how are your family during this strange time?
Yeah, Jason, first off, I just want to say thanks for having me. We're doing well, probably like everybody else, just, social distancing and taking care of each other and ourselves. And, I just want to say I hope you're doing well, and just want to give a great big shout out to our Tiger Nation out there who, I've seen on a limited basis, mostly through Twitter, but just want to send out, best wishes to the families and our student athletes, our coaches, and everyone involved. So big shout out, Tiger Nation. We're thinking about you.
Absolutely. And speaking of the Twitter, we saw a couple of tweets come out from you last night announcing the Edward Jones Community Student Athlete Award winners. So not all quiet there on the Loveland front, and we like that. So take us through that award itself, the criteria for it, and then ultimately who our winners are.
Yeah, well, I'm going to refer most people back to our Twitter account so they can kind of investigate that and look for themselves. But it was, Jason, that was the first night that we were removed from Loveland High School in a mass capacity. So, obviously, staff, Christy Brulport, Eric Fry, Jake Elfers, all the coaches have worked diligently to kind of put together the awards ceremony and the award show for all the winter coaches and for all the student athletes. So we're excited. It's obviously a big production. We always meet as a athletic department, all the programs together first, in our main gym. And that's a way so that every parent can see what every kid or what every program is doing and see the accolades that these kids have earned and, what they've achieved over the course of the year. So that to us is something unique we do. And then from there, we split it out individually into individual teams, and the teams have their own awards, and they also obviously are going to recognize individually the accomplishments they have through ECC first team, second team. We have each team submits a sports person of the year. We pick as a staff a Edward Jones Award winner, which is someone that represents a high values, both one male, one female. So we've been trying to slowly leak out all the accomplishments of the athletes and give it to Tiger Nation. I mean, wow, we have gotten a lot of, replies, retweets, likes, well, you name it. I'm seeing people that I normally wouldn't see on Twitter that are participating in the conversation. So this is a way to, to celebrate the kids and our student athletes and for the community to rally around and join them at this time.
Last time we talked, we were kind of putting a bow on the winter season, and we were not too far away from really getting things cranked really highly on the spring season. Obviously, we'll talk about the spring here in just a minute, but let's go back to when everything surrounding this whole situation in COVID-19 really started to ramp up. Can you kind of take us through the vibe of how everything was at the high school? What was the buzz around school? What were the kids, teachers, administrators all talking about?
Well, obviously, we're concerned. We're concerned for the safety here. I've never done this. I was our conversations, I don't think this was in any coach's manual or any manual in anyone's master's program or education. So we were kind of learning along the way. So there was a little bit of fear and a little bit of mostly uncertainty, and obviously some disappointment with some of the coaches who have worked so hard. Coaching is an interesting payment plan, if you will. Basically, these coaches are working 11, 12 months out of the year, for their time to compete, which just so happens to be the spring season. So, spring sports had already, the February 24th has already started. So we had tryouts for all the sports. Everyone was just in their alignment. Most of the pictures and photography were taken care of, the senior banners. So everything was almost in full alignment to begin the spring season. We were promised no rain for the entire season, so we knew we didn't have to reschedule any games. But to that point is we just didn't know what to do, and we were uncertain. And as we left that building, we had to put together a plan. Running. So that's really how we left Loveland, and now here we are. And here the entire world is having conversations like this, Jason, via the computer.
In having those discussions with in particular, your spring sports coaches and what to do now that it seemed like everything was going and now we have to stop, how much was the mental health of your student athletes discussed in that when you're trying to put things together, trying to find ways to keep everybody engaged?
Well, I think the first blanket statement is, our hearts have got to go out to our seniors who have been, denied at least part of their competing season this spring. Obviously, we are still extremely hopeful that, come May 4th, we'll be able to engage once again. But, just I couldn't be more proud of the coaches that we have. One of the first things they did is reach out and said, okay, how am I going to communicate with our athletes? And, OHSA had sent out a statement following the governor's statement, which was, that we were not going to be in school anymore. So the coaches looked towards the athletic department within other coaches, say, how do we contact our kids? What do we do? And, it's been fascinating, Jason, just having these conversations with these coaches. Everyone kind of did it their own way. And it's spectacular. It's the love that the coaches have for these student athletes and for their teams, and the investment that they have in the programs and providing and creating this culture of competitive athletics from the varsity down to the developmental of freshman and JV teams. You saw it. They were disappointed, yes, that they weren't going to have a full season, but they said, okay, now what do we do? So there are teams that are doing different things, and if you would like me to go into what some of those
Sure
are doing, I could do. Okay, so if we started first out, I was in conversations with our strength coach, Derek Berry. I said, how do we get workouts to the kids? Strength workouts. So he was involved with the company in which he works with. They have an app that's called Team Builder. They put it out to all of our athletes. Coaches signed up, got a code, sent it out to their kids. And basically, the conversations that Derek and I had were, let's provide an opportunity for the kids to have workouts, body weight workouts, some dumbbell workouts, and let's make sure the language matches the language that we currently have in our weight room facilities, and an ability for the coaches to monitor that, and for the athletes to be able to put in the weight, check off that they've done that routine and that daily workout. And that was our first ground line of communicating out that way, because it is a responsibility. All the coaches want to take their teams into the weight room and maximize the potential of the athletes. So that was the first thing, is sending out the Team Builder app. I could go on and on. Our part of our two track coaches, on the girls' side, you have Steve Nestor, who does the distance. First thing he did is send out, okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm sending out the workouts. The girls complete their workouts. They respond to the times back to the coach. And coach is always involved. He's always, one-on-one, checking in. Hey, how are you doing? Great job. Giving him the feedback. Coach Loveland, our head girls track coach, he created a Google Classroom. He got all the emails from the kids, and they have virtual meetings. He puts out information for jumping programs. He puts out for sprinting work. So it's a way that they can all, stay connected. Our girls soccer coach, Coach Kelly, who is always above and beyond in the culture area, he basically said, you know what, I've got 9 seniors. I'm going to divide those 9 seniors up. They're going to be the leaders, and they're responsible for this certain amount of kids. He would send skill workouts, ball development to those seniors, and they would send it to their responsibility and eventually work its way back up. And the coaches, are able to have these types of, Zoom conversations using this type of platform, or Google Hangout, Google Meet, and they're able to meet with all their kids and get the information out there. And they're checking on them one-on-one for the mental health. Hey, how are you? How are the workouts going? Is there anything we can help you with? So that's really exciting to hear that they're involved with that. Our football coach, Andy Cruz, he's having once a week, he's having staff meetings virtually with all his coaches. And then his coaches are going back and they're having individual position meetings with their players. So we're trying to find the silver lining in all this. Right? How can we connect, be more connected when physically we're removed from one another, and just to feel, the love that these coaches have for their student athletes and for the game in which they coach. It's absolutely fascinating. So they're able to, football is able to have team meeting. And, the conversation that Andy and I had is, and I'm sure you're aware, as all Tiger Nation are, the amount of education that is out there right now for free, the tutorials, the information, go grab it and watch those videos or take those classes and then share them, put them into action. And that's really what we're doing. We're sharing the books that we're reading, the podcasts that we're listening to, and we're using this opportunity as a professional development, a different way to make connections with our kids, to continuously build our trust. We're looking at new ways. We had our baseball coach, who was a recent hire, Ty Neal, an excellent, just a great person. He never got to coach his first season here with Loveland yet, but he's like, you know what? There's some boys on this team that I know could play at the next level. So he's using his college experience to talk with them about how to make themselves more recruitable once this is lifted, and then they move on to their first freshman year in college. Cheer, we're working on finalizing. This is interesting. How are we going to do tryouts, which would have already happened? So we're looking at virtual tryouts for our team. What does it look like? How do we push that out there? I mean, uncharted ground, right? So our coach, Emily Chrisman, is talking to all, different, cheerleading foundations, colleges, whatever it is, trying to gather information, different schools. So it's very unique. And, so I couldn't be more proud of our coaches for making those connections, checking with their student athletes, providing opportunities for kids to still be engaged while not being, close to one another.
So you've been on top of things as far as organization goes, not only yourself, your staff, and coaches. In conversations with those coaches, and maybe even seeing some of the student athletes, conversations, things on social media, that types of things, how do you feel like the student athletes are embracing this change?
I think they're forced to embrace it. I think it's different. I think they're a very intelligent group of student athletes. And so, I think I think, mom and dad are so involved as well, is to, making sure the kids we're all doing the right thing here. I think just making those connections to help the kids, develop some sort of normalcy. I have 2 kids here myself, and just continue to do that with, our athletes, sending the workouts to them. They can do it, within their breaks or after school, whatever that looks like. I think that routine helps with, the mental health of our kids.
And so everybody's obviously it's a huge change, and obviously Governor DeWine has a stay-at-home order, except for essential employees and what have you throughout the state. How much as yourself as an athletic director are you able to get accomplished on a daily basis? Obviously, technology is ruling the day, and we have to find creative ways to get things done, and you're doing that right now, obviously through everything that you've detailed through here. But how much are you able to get done on a daily basis compared to, say, a quote-unquote normal spring day?
Well, the one part that's missing, Jason, is those evening games that we get to attend, and we get to showcase the work that the students are doing. So that part of it, that's missing. But the day-to-day daily operations, we found ways to embrace this and actually to make it better. I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed these one-on-one, as we call them, these one-on-one check-ins with all of our coaches. So it's 15 minutes. I set it up with each of the coaches. We talked to each other 15 minutes. Hey, how are you doing? How's the family? How's your student athletes? What kind of, workouts or communications are you sending them? And, Eric Fry and myself, we always say we have the best job because we get to hear from each and every one of the coaches. And then when we talk to these coaches individually, we can share that information. So we're very fortunate with that. So having these one-on-one check-ins and these conversations, I think is really improving upon the trust that we have as a department, which is eventually, it'll make us stronger when this stay home is lifted. And we've been doing a great job of putting together, Eric put together a coaches forum, which is we all logged in at a certain time, much like we're doing now. And one by one, we just share the information that we're doing. And so I think that helps each coach, 1, feel connected, and 2, get additional information, learn from other coaches to share with their athletes. And we're going to continue doing that. We're rotating through the coaches on an individual basis. And also we're looking for new ideas. Okay, how can we set our coaches forum? What's the what's the purpose of this meeting? We're looking at ideas of, can we bring a motivational speaker in, that says, hey, this is whatever motivational speaker means is what it means. It's someone that's, how do you lead your team through adverse, challenging situations, that parallel something not like this, but something similar, struggles that teams have. So we're trying to be creative in the way that we do that. Our principal, Peggy Johnson, has done a great job of asking the student athletes or seniors, well, all seniors, to decorate their doors. So we're actually we actually have our senior banners that we're going to distribute for the spring season to the houses of all these kids, and hopefully we'll display those on their door, and we can help celebrate them, as well. So those are things that we're doing. We're trying to, part of our culture code is trust and providing the tools. And I think conversations are the tools that we all need to improve our culture. So that's what we're doing.
Absolutely. And before I let you go here, obviously everybody's kind of on a day-to-day basis right now. Most people are anyway. Is it the same for you as an athletic director? Obviously, the stay-at-home order is in effect through May 1st, and so we don't know what's going to happen beyond that. Are you, as an administrator, are you looking forward into the summer, maybe peeking into the fall, or are you right now, like everybody else, taking this essentially one day at a time?
Well, I think as athletic directors, administrators, we do have to plan for this and be ready. This is lifted. So as of right now, we are looking at May 4th as the first day for acclimation period for spring. That's where our heads are, but also we have to plan beyond that as well. And, so we have almost every program has a summer camp, and, that they do for our youth program. So we're looking at, what does that look like? How can we be creative in making those changes if it does look different? And then we're also looking at, our fall sports and, our weight room facility, and making sure that everything is in place. So once we're able to return, that, we can, come from where we are now without missing a beat. We can come right in and, and be healthy. And I think it's, kind of times like these where, you hold on to hope and you struggle a little bit, and you continuously put in your hard work. I think that's what builds, strong characters and strong teams. And, all of our student athletes, our community, our coaches are all bought in, and we're here to make that happen.
And it seems like you're doing a very good job of making that happen. Brian, we appreciate your time here. You and your family stay safe during this time, and we'll talk again soon.
You too, Jason. Thank you very much.
All right. That is Loveland AD Brian Conatser joining us here on the AD podcast here on lovelandtigers.org and ESP Media, powered by Sidearm Sports.